Guys, welcome to the video. I'm going to try to make this quick, simple, and easy to follow. I'm doing it for the first time, so bear with me. But the idea here is to change the original factory 996 wheel, which I actually love. The reason why I'm changing is because I'm almost about 6'2", and the bottom, it just gets in the way with my legs. And as you know, there's no up and down adjustment. There's just the in and out. So yeah, I decided to go with an aftermarket, which I'll show you. I'll go over that in a little bit. But okay, first step, battery. Negative off, and then you want to make sure the battery's discharged. So let it sit for you know, a little bit. I hit the brake pedal. Obviously opened the doors up, turned the key, just trying to discharge any electricity that might be in there, because we're taking off the airbag first. So that's the first word of caution. And then there are two, I believe they're T30. They're at the 9 and 3 o'clock position. So I'm going to turn the wheel, access the bottom, and then I'll turn the wheel and access the top. So let's see if, okay, this is actually a T27, so my apologies. And it broke free so easily, and you can loosen that up, and then that will loosen up the airbag. And now I just have to do the top part. They're both loosened, and they actually don't come out. So the T27s will stay in there, and the airbag will just pop out. All right, so here's what we got. We have to pop the clip off of this yellow part, and then the airbag will be removed. And then we have, then we'll tackle the 24 millimeter center. We'll break that loose, and then we'll have to obviously change over all this wiring, which we'll go over there in a second. So let me first just get this airbag unclipped. Let's see if I can do this with one hand. Yep, that's it. Simple as that. It just pops right up. You can see it's just a pronged plug. All right. Let's get these connectors off. I think this one's the horn. It just backs out. Okay, and then this is going to be a Torx. I have to see what size that Torx is. Okay, this can actually stay. You just pull that off, simple, easy. So this will come off when we transfer the wheels from old to new. All right, now we have to crack this loose. I'm not going to take it all the way off because I want to be able to pull the steering wheel out. And then when it frees up, I don't want it to come flying at me. So very similar to like when you do a ball joint, leave a little bit of the nut on the thread so that when you pop the ball joint, it doesn't just, break apart and fly everywhere. It just goes to the length of that ball joint, and then the nut will hold it. So, all right, let me see if I can crack this loose. I'm not sure if it's going to be a two-person job. Someone's got to maybe hold the wheel and get a 24 on there. I was able to do this with one hand, so I put an extension on, and I was able to come basically leverage from up top here and hold the wheel with my left hand under here, and then just apply enough torque. And it just popped that loose. So sorry it's all shaky there, but yeah. So I'm gonna loosen this up almost all the way out. And then I'm going to try to, pull the wheel out and just pop it loose. I'm also got to mark the steering wheel so I know exactly how it threaded onto the spline. So I get it lined up exactly perfect again. Here's what I did. I sat in the seat, grabbed the whole, like I'm driving. I pulled hard, and it just popped. You see that little play. There's in, and just popped a little bit, and the nut held it. So now I can take the nut off And I'm gonna mark this little washer in there too. Little metal washer. Let me just get that off without losing that. There we go. Okay. Okay. All right. There's that. So now I'm gonna mark a line so I know exactly where it's lined up, so I have the steering wheel in the same position when I pop the other one back in. Before I pull the wheel off, I'm gonna get it dead straight. I'm actually gonna be getting an alignment anyway, so I know if it's a little bit off, they'll be able to correct this with the alignment, but I'm gonna get as straight as I possibly can tell, so that when the new wheel comes back on, I'll get it right there. But you can see like where my knees are, and like it always hits. So, you know, it becomes a little bit annoying, but I do love the wheel, and the new one is thicker, as you'll see. I don't mind the thinner wheel, if you will. I think it's more like normal and standard. Keep in mind that the M3 has a very thick wheel. At least that's what people think. It's like very thick. I actually like that. I think this won't be as thick, or maybe it will. I probably didn't measure them to give you an exact diameter, but yeah, the biggest issue is really the clearance down here, and the new one is flat bottom. Just be careful when you're pulling the wheel off that you have all these wires tucked. All right, so that's off. Okay, nice. Okay, now we gotta do some transferring over some parts. Let's get the new wheel. Let me show you what that looks like. All right, she's arrived. That. Okay. Undo a little bit of it. Nice. Now we've moved inside to show the big reveal. So we have old. And we have new. Okay. See that? So this is the DCT Motorsports wheel. I went with the smooth leather. I didn't make really any altercations to it. No 12 o'clock mark, no Alcantara, no perforated leather. I just wanted to say smooth to smooth. I think this is the most OEM plus look. Yeah, really happy with that. So let's we gotta get this plate out. These are T30s. We gotta get this plate out, and we gotta move that and bolt it to here. Okay, we took all those bolts off, those T30s, that lifts out. What I wanted to show you, these are the ones, those airbag ones. These are the T27s, and they are there and there. So they just pop out the back, because obviously we're gonna be using those on the new one. And the last thing I'll need is that guy to come off. I'll let you know what that is in a second. And that should be it. Okay, it's a T20. Okay. That comes right out. Okay, let's put that onto the new one. The one thing I did notice as I'm trying to zoom in here is that where this piece goes in, it doesn't look like it's threaded. So you'll be putting it in and it'll be self-threading itself. Does that make sense? It's like a clean bore, and you'll be threading it in. So, so just be mindful of that. It's all back together. Torque down. This one's in. Yeah, so I'll just give you a little look. Back out in the garage, I'm gonna show you guys just how crazy I am about the airbag stuff. So when I took the negative off, I put a cloth underneath it just so that there's no way that could get back and touch the top of the terminal. Yeah, so I guess we can leave that open. All right, so I'll set up a tripod so you can kind of see the reverse. I think the biggest thing is just making sure that that wheel gets lined up on those on the splines, like nice and straight. We'll thread the wires through the hole, and then I'll tighten everything up. So, all right, let me set this up for you. All right, I'll have a seat here. Let's get these wires through. This little plastic tab is to line up through this top portion. Okay, make sure the wheel is straight. Like that. Let's see. No, that's not right. So that's it right there. That's gonna be it. Okay. All right, so I think I'll tighten up the 24 at this point. Put the washer in first. And then I have to get the torque spec for this. I'm not sure. Not sure what that is. All right, let me go check that. I wanted to just stop and just take a second to give you a little quick installation tip. Remember those airbag screws? They push through, the back as I talked about, but they actually push all the way through, like the just like a rubber cutout in the back. They go all the way through, and you really want them sticking through this metal. So you really have to push them forcefully through so they're sticking out through there, so that when I put the airbag back on, I'll be able to thread it through and it'll catch on the airbag threads. So yeah, so I just had to do that first. So took off all this stuff to make sure I had that on. Here's this nut again. This is going to be 33 foot-pounds. So let me do that now. And with the torque here, I just literally squeezed my knees together and applied pressure. I was able to hold it till it clicked. So that worked out nicely. You got to really squeeze your knees tight, or get a helper, which would be way more logical. Last bits. Connect. Connect. And the last piece is going to be the airbag. So let me go get that. I'm going to sit in the driver's seat when I do this, because I am just a scaredy cat. Okay. And this is going to... Turn the wheel. access. So this part's a little fiddly. You have to just get that screw to catch the top caught. Let's see if I can get this bottom part to catch. Flying blind in there, so it's kind of by feel. Guys, I put everything back together and I hooked up the battery and the horn started blaring. And I'm like, oh man, is it I tried the button, I tried a whole bunch of different things. Here's what it is. This plate that you bolt back in, and this might be just common knowledge to people, but I didn't know. See right behind there, there's a little metal tab. There's a metal tab on this one and here, right? I screwed these in way too tight, and this plate then was screwed into and contacting the metal. That's the horn, right? I mean, that's how it activates. Once you push on, you push here, right? And it pushes it on this plate. So you have to back these out. So you have that room where it'll click and it's not contacting it. So this has to be not screwed in tight. All right, hopefully that helps. If you have the horn going on, blaring when you hook up the battery, that is why. It is sensing that the horn's being pressed. See, it's going nice and slow, but you can see there's no interference anymore. It's just nice. It's just perfect. Yeah, thanks for watching. If you have any questions about the install, throw it in the comments. I'll be happy to answer it for you. It's really not that difficult of a job at all. So hopefully those tips will help you. And yeah, you really can't screw anything up. Just unhook the negative on the battery. See ya.